All right, finding surface area of spheres. This is the formula for the surface area of a sphere. 4 times pi times the radius times the radius. You can say radius to the power of 2. So that's really the only measurement you need on a sphere is the radius in order to find its surface area. It's also the only measurement you would need if you're finding the volume of the sphere, although we're not going over that today. All right, so it says draw a net for the composite shape below. I'm not going to do that. But I am going to find the surface area. We're down to 2 decimal places if it's needed, although it may not be needed because of these. We're not really using pi in this case, but we could. Let's find out. All right. Now, what I would notice on this shape right here is that what we have is a prism, and on top of that prism is another prism. This is a rectangular prism here on the bottom, and on top is a triangular prism. On the front, I have a triangle. The back is a triangle. The rest of the sides or faces are rectangles. And on the bottom, we got the rectangle on the bottom and top, and then rectangles all the way around it. Okay? So really, what I would be looking at, although you could say this is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 faces, I'm going to split these 7 faces up into 9 faces. Okay? Look at the bottom rectangular prism. I'm looking at 5 faces. You say, well, a rectangular prism though has 6 faces. That's true, but the top face is covered with this prism. So it's not considered part of the surface area. Okay, so it needs to be on the surface in order to be included in the calculation for the area. So I'm going to just split these up, and I don't have enough colors to just kind of, well, separate all of these, but it doesn't really matter where you start either, okay? So what I see here is I would start with this triangle right up and down. Although you could start with the rectangles, I'm just starting with kind of the different shape amongst all these other shapes. That's this triangle right here. And I see that it has a height, so for my triangle, the area for the triangle, I have a height of 0.7 meters. And the base length there, this one, that's this 1.8 meters right there, okay? So 0.7 times 1.8, but I do need to divide this by 2 because it is a triangle. So the area of one of those triangles, 0.7 times 1.8 divided by 2, I get 0.63. And some of you say, well, we got this other triangle that matches it on the back. That's true, so I am going to end up multiplying it by 2 anyway, so 6.3 times 2. And that's the area of both triangles, which is 1.26. And this is in square meters so far. So that's 2 of the faces out of the 9 that I need to find. Next up, and this may sound worse than it is because looky here, this triangle right here on the kind of the top right of this triangular prism, it actually matches this one that's on the top left of that triangular prism as well. So I can take that and multiply it by 2 as well. So I'm looking at this, it's a rectangle, right, because it's a prism. And that rectangle, this length right here shows it's at 1.1 meters. And then this length right here is showing at 1.14 meters. Okay? So again, I do want the area of that rectangle, which is 1.1 times 1.14, which in my calculator, let's see, 1.1 times 1.14 gives me 1.254, and again, that's in square meters. But again, it matches this one on the back side right here, so that's going to multiply by 2, which gives us the total area. Looks like I need this space down here. There we go. The total area of both of those rectangles is going to be 2.508. Again, that's in square meters, okay? So I'm going to highlight these just so I don't lose track of them, because we're going to have to add all these together in the end. Yeah, so that's a good question, and it's important to notice, yeah, that while I've covered these with my drawing, you know, if you got the original drawing in front of you, then you can see that these values are pointing to each other, which duplicates the purple triangle here, or rectangle with this other purple one. All right, so what are we at? 4 sides, 4 of the surfaces right now out of what should be 9. But I've taken care of all the surfaces that are on the surface for that triangular prism. So I need to move on then to the rectangular prism. And what the heck, I'll start with this, this edge left surface right there, which actually matches this right surface right there as well, okay? So I'll keep that in mind after I calculate the area of one of these rectangles. So one of those rectangles, we can see that the bottom length there is 1.1 meters, and the height right here, 0.8 meters. So the area of this one can be 1.1 times 0.8, which, let's see, let me do it in my calculator just because I'm prone to make mistakes on these types. So I got 0.88, and that's the area of one of those rectangles, but again, there's 2 of them, right? So multiply that by 2. So multiply by 2, and we get 1.76. So that's the total surface area for both of those rectangles. Again, I'm going to kind of highlight that so I understand where that is. So we got 3 more faces to go. Let's see what we can do here. I'll start with this front face right here. I'll do it in orange, which again matches the back face here. And this rectangle is showing as a 1.8 meter, that's this one. And the height of there is 0.8 again, in meters. So if I want the area of that rectangle, I take 1.8 times 0.8. And let's see what that gives us in the calculator. 1.8 times 0.8 is 1.44. Again, that'd be square meters, but I got 2 of these rectangles. So I'm going to multiply that by 2 to get 2.88. So that's the total surface area of both of those rectangles in orange right there, 2.88. Well, our final rectangle is just here at the bottom. And we see that's a 1.8 by 1.1 meter rectangle. So let's see if we can draw that over here. Well, I had it. 1.8 meters here. And 1.1 meters there. Okay, so the area of that one, and there's only one of these, by the way. 1.8 times 1.1. Hopefully you've even been able to organize your work better than I have. 1.8 times 1.1 in my calculator. And yes, I ran out of space there, but I got 1.98 in meters. So I'm gonna highlight that there at the bottom. So what do we got to do now? Well, what we're gonna need to do is calculate the full surface area. So I'm gonna start with the values I start with. I got the red one, right, at 1.26 square meters. That's the 2 triangles. And then I think we did the purple ones, which totaled 2.508, and that was 2 rectangles together. And then we did the green rectangles at 1.76. And then the orange, which was 2.88, those 2 rectangles. And then the final rectangle, just one rectangle, 1.98. And yeah, we do need to add all these together to figure out our total surface area for the shape. All right, let's see if I can do this in the calculator correct this time. And then we'll see if it matches yours. 1.26, 2.508, plus 1.76, plus 2.88. I did 7.16 in my calculation, which was incorrect, of course. And this is what I get then. That's a good lesson in that right there is, you know, when you're typing this in the calculator, make sure that you typed it in correct. I should have known. I mean, 15 seems like it was too high anyway. So, and now we can round though. So the 8 in the hundredths place value, because this is where it wanted, and then this 8 adds 1 there to our designated place value. So that ends up being 10.39. But again, the label for this one is in square meters because we are looking at surface area on this one. So 10.39 square meters would be our final answer for this.